Hi everybody, and welcome to an introduction video for the Funfetti Cupcake Tee. This is the Funfetti Cupcake Tee, and I've apparently licked my sweater. And it is a super simple design, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. First, I'll tell you a little bit about the construction. Second, I'll tell you a little bit about the yarn choice. Third, I'll tell you a little bit about sizing and how to either use the sizing table that I have in the pattern or to do completely custom sizing for you. And I have a formula for that, and I'll walk through how that formula works. So that way, if you're thinking of test knitting it or you're looking to knit it for yourself or for anybody else, you can make sure it fits them perfectly. So a little bit about the construction. This is essentially a tee that is knit in two separate lace panels. It starts with an I-cord cast on along the top, and you knit two of these at the top like this, and then you do an eyelet lace in two separate colors. I have a variegated color and a solid, and I think it looks really cool because it gives it that funfetti kind of cupcake sprinkles look. And so then you join these two halves in the round once you get to the bottom, and you knit stockinette stitch, really relaxing, for as many inches as you want. And then at the very bottom, you do a seated rib, which kind of gives a little pleating and a little accordion effect to the ribbing at the bottom. And then I did an alternating cable bind off in pattern to give it kind of this clean edge. You can use whatever bind off you're happy with, but that's a little bit about the construction of how this sweater is knit. It is a crop sweater, but you can knit it longer, not a problem. You can knit it, you know, as close to your bust as you want or as much ease as you want. And I have customization instructions in there for all of these contingencies. Another thing that I have is that if you, for instance, want to have a lot of ease and have a really boxy sweater, but you don't want it to like the lace to come so far down on your bust that, you know, you have to wear a tank, you can actually knit the lace shorter and then just do some some rows of stockinette before you break your yarn and move it to working in the round. That gives you a longer armhole, but less lace in the top. And you can, of course, also just reduce the amount of lace edging you do. So you could do it super wide, but then only do 5 or 6 inches of lace so that you have like a top, but then very square. So again, very flexible in how it's knit up. And if you have any questions about construction or fit, or like if you want to try something, you're not sure how you think it'll turn out, definitely just email me at hello@cryptoknits or come onto the Discord channel and ask your questions, because I'm more than happy to help brainstorm construction for this, as well as to help pick colors, because I love picking colors. And another thing to know is that this piece is absolutely completely size customizable. I've said this on my Instagram before, but I'm very, very committed to size inclusive design. I've been everything from a size 2 to a size 26 and every size in between. And so I know how frustrating and how heartbreaking it is to see something super cute that you want to wear and then like you can't even buy it or knit it because it's not available in your size. So you know, every pattern I release will have that contingency built in, because I've been that person who is crying because they can't knit the thing or do the thing that they want or have that look that they want. And I never want my patterns to be a source of pain or suffering for anybody. So from a sizing perspective, I was going to talk about yarn. So this is actually knit from a 80/20 merino silk blend. The contrast color is Emma's yarn in the beautiful colorway No Place Like Home, which actually I have some of it left over here and it is so spectacular. And the solid is Knitwise Fibers in mink. They're both a silk merino blend, and I like it because it gets the drape. So if you are going to knit this in something other than silk merino, just know that your drape might not be quite so much. You might need to go up a little bit to have, you know, because you might have more bounce back if it's all wool. So you may want to give yourself a little additional ease in the bust if you want something slouchy. If you're knitting with something like linen, know that you're going to have even more drape, and you may want to go down a little because you're going to have less stretch. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your fiber, that will affect kind of how it looks when you're wearing it. Now onto the size. So this is super easy to adjust the size on. I have actually created something like 9 or 10 sizes pre-baked into the pattern, ranging from a size like 29.5 to a size 70-inch bust, and I don't remember the centimeters, but they're in there too. Everything's both imperial and metric. So it doesn't matter if you are a metric knitter or an imperial knitter, you will have the measurements you need to do the pattern. Because I am a dirty Yank, I am going to work this little sample in imperial for you. So just pretend that I'm speaking in centimeters if you really need to, but I've included all of the calculations for both. So really, essentially, the first thing you would do if you're trying to figure out your size or what you want to knit is you're going to measure around your bust or the largest part of your chest. If you're a man and you want to knit this, you don't need to have a bust, you just need to have a body. So just take a measuring tape and pull it around, and give it as much looseness as you think you need to get like an accurate measurement around that part of your chest. You can do it with a string and then like measure the string after it's off. I have a measuring tape, which I have appeared to have left in the other room, so I apologize about that. But either way, start by measuring that chest area, and that is going to be the very first measurement that you're going to look at. From there, you will think about and add a number that covers how much ease you'd like. So for example, I have a 36-inch bust, so I knit this a 37. So I give myself like 1 inch of positive ease. If I was to knit it again, I'll probably give myself like 3 inches of positive ease, or 4, just to give something a little slouchier, a little more, casual. And so this, I kind of envisioned it to be a little tighter, a little more like a, romantic topper or a cute crop tee. So, but something slouchier, I'll probably add some extra ease. So let's think about if I was going to knit this again, maybe I would give myself 4 inches of ease. And so there, I now have a 36-inch bust, and I have 4 inches of ease, and that total number is 40. So the first thing I would do is go look at the chart and say, okay, is there a size that Aaliyah's already put together that approximates this, this total number of size that I'm looking for, the sizing? And if the answer is yes, sweet. Just check that table will have, how many stitches to cast on per side, your total number of stitches. It will have your how much to knit of each section of the lace, of the stockinette, and of the seated ribbing. And it will give you also like the approximate yardages you will need for your size at those lengths. So that you'll have everything you need if you want to knit the top at those exact lengths to that exact size. Now, if you get to the point and you're like halfway between two sizes, or you're not sure, and you really just want exactly what you want, and sometimes we do, you want exactly what you want, you can easily calculate how many stitches to cast on, and that's one thing I love about this pattern. So if I was to say, okay, I have a 36-inch bust, and this might be backwards, actually, 36-inch bust and the 4 inches of ease, that would give me 40 inches total that I'm looking at. Now, to get how many stitches total roughly that I want, I would multiply that 40 by 6.25. Now, if I'm measuring in centimeters, and I am a metric knitter, I will multiply that number by 0.4 instead of 6.25. So I have both of those multiplications in there. 40 inches times 6.25 equals 250 stitches. So that's about roughly how many stitches I need around me to get the ease that I want, but that's not really the end number that I need to work with, because this star stitch is in multiples of 6 with selvage edges. I want to make sure that when you cast on the stitches, you get exactly the beautiful repeat that you want. So to get to those final cast on numbers, the first thing you're going to do is take that total number that you've created. So if I had 40 and I multiplied it by 6.25, I would have 250. That's the total number of stitches. I'm going to divide that in 2. So I'm going to divide that by 2, and that's going to give me 125 stitches. Now, 125 stitches is not even an even number, let alone divisible by 6. But so this is the part that's a little squishy, is that you tweak this number until it is divisible by 6. So I could go down to 120, or I could go up to 126 to make it divisible by 6. Since 126 is like just one stitch, I'm probably going to go up to 126, and then that way it'll be divisible by 6, and I'll get my pattern just the way I want it, and it will all be good. I could just as easily go down to 120, then I'll lose a little bit on my ease, because that's like losing 10 stitches total to like, 10 on, 5 on one side, 5 on the other, and then you add back 4 on the selvage, but still that's losing 6 stitches. And maybe if I want it slouchier, I definitely want to go up to the additional stitch. So now I have 125. I've added 1 stitch to make it divisible by 6. And now I add my 2 selvage stitches, because I want to make sure that I have my pattern repeat and my selvage along the edge. And those really will curl in anyway around your arm, and they create a nice edge. So you'll go ahead and take that divisible by 6 number, and you'll add 2 to it. And that will give you your final number of stitches to cast on for each panel. So if I had 125 and I tweaked it to make it 126, when I add 2, I will be at 128. So my front panel that I cast on will be 128. My back panel that I cast on will be 128. And my total number of stitches will be 256. So it'll be a few stitches more than, but it'll be like a half an inch difference. So I'll be able to get approximately my 40 inches and maybe at 40.5 inches of total ease based on that calculation. And that is how you calculate like a custom fit for you. You just have to make sure that whatever number of stitches you cast on is divisible by 6 plus 2 for selvage. And then you can easily modify the length as well. Again, you can make the bust part, the lace part, longer or shorter depending on how much you want to have. I mean, you could do it all the way down if you wanted it, all the way to down the whole front if you want, to have like a lace front or a lace back. And honestly, that's kind of a cool idea. I might do one as entirely lace back, because that's neat. And then you can have as much of the stockinette as you want and as much of the ribbing as you want in whatever configuration that is happy for you. You just have to make sure you have enough yarn. So the pattern does tell you how much yarn you'll need for the base stitches. I'm trying to work out a way, and I haven't worked it out with my tech editor yet. So hopefully when you see this video, it'll have been worked out, that I'll be able to get like a guesstimate on yarn per additional inch that you might need to add length. Because I know some people were interested in having a longer top, and honestly, I ran out of knitwise mink, or I would have made this just like an inch maybe longer. But I do think that if you have an extra skein of yarn and you want some extra length, it can't hurt to do that. The other thing you can do is you will have leftover yarn from your contrast color. You can also knit your ribbing in your contrast color, which will help you reduce the number of skeins that you use, that you have to buy for this project, or that you have to stash for this project, but also give you additional length. And I'm super interested to see some patterns that come out of this, or projects that come out of this where people have done that. So hopefully this video is a helpful overview on kind of the Funfetti Cupcake Tee and what the construction looks like and what the sizing options are and how you might go about calculating the perfect size for you. And I absolutely can't wait to see all the beautiful tops that come from this, because I think that this is a really special, eyelet lace pattern. And I think it really highlights a beautiful skein of yarn, and we don't always know what to do with those fantastic hand-painted skeins. I mean, this was another Emma's yarn that almost made the cut, and I think I might do this color, and I can't remember the name of it. It's in here somewhere. I have it somewhere, but this color, I might do another Funfetti Cupcake top with a gray as a base color as well. And so, you really do have the opportunity to take those skeins that are hand painted and super variegated and allow them to shine in a top like this. This is another speckle from Emma. This is a DK, but it's also called Plant Lady. So the idea is take that beautiful speckled skein that you're worried is going to be too busy when you knit up, or you're not sure how to use it, and just make it the highlight of a stunning top, like, and you know, a top that's so wearable, even with all the beautiful colors in it. And I think hopefully that, you know, everyone will have a little like confetti in their life with this kind of pattern. And I really hope that you guys enjoy it. Definitely reach out to me at hello@cryptoknits if you have questions, and or visit me on the Discord server. The link is going to be in the video below, along with a link to my website to sign up for my mailing list if you want to be alerted to future test calls or future pattern releases. And also feel free to subscribe to this channel. I post all of my introductory videos and all of my tutorials here. So if you subscribe, you will get kind of notifications as to what some of the upcoming patterns are going to use, what techniques they'll use, because you'll start to see those tutorials come up before the actual pattern is released. So again, thank you, and I look forward to seeing everyone's beautiful Funfetti cupcake tops.